we get something like this. Let's say x squared minus 2x plus 7 equals 15. In this case, I will move 7 to the other side, meaning I subtract 7 from both sides, so I get x squared minus 2x equals 8. And now here is the procedure. In step 1, make sure that everything is in descending order. We always do that. That's a must from the very beginning. First, identify the middle coefficient. Oh, it's -2. In step number 2, I will divide it by 2. Okay, -2 divided by 2 is -1. In step 3, I will square -1. Square the number from step 2. The result that we get from step 2. Okay, I did. It's 1. And in step 4, add 1 to both sides. Add the number I got from step 3 to both sides. It must be to both sides. Mandatory. So when I add 1 to both sides, I get a new equation equivalent to the first one. So I get x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 8 plus 1, which is 9. But now from factoring, I have to remember what this equals to, because if I don't, I cannot continue. What does x squared minus 2x plus 1 equal to? You have to quickly factor that, otherwise we cannot continue. And the strategy of factoring says, what does the factoring strategy say? X squared minus 2x plus 1 is the same with what? This should take only one blink for x squared minus 2x plus 1. What is it? Please, can anybody factor that? Anyone, please? If you skip any steps from this strategy, you may have a hard time with it. Anybody can factor x squared minus 2x for us plus 1, please?
Move the 1 over.
That's exactly what we don't want to. We need the third term to factor. That's why we did all these steps. We went through all those steps to find out that 1. Because only these 3 change into a perfect square. If I move 1 to the other side, I'm going backwards. And all the work I did means nothing. So, how do we factor x squared minus 2x plus 1?
I don't think any of us know.
Right, it's x minus 1 squared. We should only take a blink on this one. First term squared, second term squared, minus 2 times the first times the second. This should have taken just 1 second. It's the simplest binomial squared.
Yeah, but I think this is from chapter 5 and 6, and none of us are great at 5 and 6, so.
Right. But you have to go back to the strategy. Everything is recorded. It's very important. This is a very important topic. Very important topic. Factoring. So now we take the square root and we get x minus 1 equals plus or minus 3. And we know the plus or minus do not come from the square root of 9. So this is x minus 1 equals plus or minus 3. And then I move 1 right in front of the plus or minus. So then I have to split it. And this is 4. And this is negative 2. If you make the effort now when is the right time, then you will not have a hard time later with the factoring strategy. And it's the most organized factoring strategy that you can work on. Trust me. Okay, let's look at other examples. What about x squared plus 8x equals negative 15? Can anyone tell us what would you add to both sides? And go. Let's go through the strategy. Can anyone identify the middle coefficient for us? Can anyone read the middle coefficient for us, please?
X.
The x is not the middle coefficient. Coefficient means only a number. It does not mean a variable. The leading coefficient is 1. The middle coefficient is 8. The free term is 15. So the middle coefficient is
8.
Perfect. We have to divide it by 2. The strategy says to divide it by 2. What do we get? When we divide 8 by 2, we get
4.
Perfect. And the next step in the strategy says you have to square 4. What do we get when we square 4?
16.
And this is what we have to add to both sides. So again, the middle coefficient is 8. We have to divide it by 2. We get 16. I'm sorry, we get 8. Then we have to square and we get 16. Now we have to remember how to factor this. The right-hand side is 1. But how do we factor x squared plus 8x plus 16? X squared plus 8x plus 16. How do we factor that? Anyone, please? How do we factor x squared plus 8x plus 16? What do you think?
Would it be x minus 4 squared?
But it's positive. Yes, indeed.
Or
Yes,
plus squared, right?
indeed. Exactly what we squared to get 16. Perfect. Exactly what we squared to get 16. So now we take the square root and we have x plus 4 equals plus or minus 1. We have to squeeze 4 between the equal symbol and the plus or minus. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus 1, and we have to separate it into negative 3 and to negative 5. Very good. Any questions? Good, let's work on another. Let's say x squared minus 4x minus 23 equals 0. So what will be the first step here? What do you think? What will be the first? Yes, go.
Identify the middle coefficient,
Yes, the middle coefficient is negative 4.
-4.
Yes, divided by 2, negative 2. Square that number. When I square negative 2, what do I get?
+4.
Excellent. That's exactly it. I have to add 4 to both sides. So add 4 and add 4, but also move 23 to the other side. So then I have on the left-hand side, I have x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 27. How do I factor the left-hand side? And no, I cannot go backwards. I worked hard to determine that 4. So,
X minus 2.
very good. X minus 2, everything squared equals 27. Great job. Good. Now we take the square root from both sides. So we have x minus 2 equals plus or minus. Remember, we have to split the square root of 27 into the square root of 9 and the square root of 3. Because 27 is not a perfect square. And the square root of 9 is 3. And I move 2 right in front of the plus or minus. So x equals 2 plus or minus 3, the square root of 3. Please remember that Pearson will ask you to put this in with a comma. They don't have, I think, this sign, the plus or minus sign. So they ask you to put in 2 plus the square root of 3 and comma 2 minus the 3, the square root of 3. Now here's a slightly more difficult situation. Only because we are looking at fractions. Here's why. So let's say we have x squared minus 5x plus 2. I'm going to make it minus 2. Okay. What is the middle coefficient?
-5.
Very good. We have to divide it by 2. I'm going to make it into I just want to make sure that we don't have an imaginary number. That's all. Okay, -5. Then I have to divide -5 by 2. Fine. -5 halves. But now I have to square -5 halves. What do I get when I square -5 halves? We know how to square this. We've done this. Yes.
25/4.
Excellent. This is what we have to add. So, before you say anything, let's write the equation. So x squared minus 5x plus 25/4 equals 20 plus 25/4. Four times 20 is 80, so it's 105/4 is the right-hand side. But this has to be condensed into a perfect square. If it's not, then I cannot continue. And this is, always remember, it's what you squared to get this. You square this to get this. So this must be it. So it must be x minus this number. X minus 5/2. So even if the middle coefficient is not divisible by 2, it's okay. It's okay. Not a problem. Can I continue? Yes, of course. I'll take the square root. X minus 5/2 equals plus or minus. The square root of 105 is the square root of 105, but the square root of 4 is 2. And the final step, I have to squeeze 5/2 right here. So x equals 5/2 plus or minus the square root of 105 over 2.
Wouldn't the 5/2 be negative still?
Which one?
The 5/2, wouldn't it be negative?
Here?
Yeah.
It cannot be.
Oh, no? Okay.
So remember, the first term squared minus 2 times the first times the second is negative 5x plus the
Right.
second term squared. So
Okay.
if this is minus, this has to have minus.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
At the bottom, I think she switched it from the left side of the equal sign to the right side, so switch the sign.
Yeah, but I
Yeah, I
think
got that.
but I think Janelle was talking about this. We were talking about this or this.
I was talking about that. Yes.
Yes. If the middle term, remember, if the middle term is negative, the binomial has to have negative.
I was confusing myself.
That's okay. But you understand that, for example, if I have x squared minus 2x plus 1, I cannot write x plus 1 squared because the middle term will not be negative.
Right, right.
So if this is positive, then this is positive. If this is negative, then this must be negative for them to equal each other.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Any questions on completing the square? Do you think we need more examples with completing the square?
I think so. I would love another example.
Yes, of course. Let's take a look. Let's go back to the book and find more examples. Okay. Good. Solving quadratic equations by completing the square. Let's choose from here anything you want. Solve the quadratic equation by completing the square. So we have x squared minus 6x equals 2. Good. Can anyone walk us through the steps?